Hey folks, back to work on the top 25 list, and I'm going to keep things very basic today. I'm going to go over Donna Lee again and just talk about the chords a little bit. So first chord is A flat, and it could be a major seventh or a major sixth. So 1, 2. Next chord is an F seventh. And mostly with dominant seventh chords, if you're just playing like root position chords with your left hand, it's okay to leave out the fifth. In fact, it's desirable to leave out the fifth, because many times on dominant seventh chords, you're going to be using what you can call tensions or color tones or extensions. All those terms mean the same thing. And basically, those are ninths, 11ths, and 13ths that will occasionally clash with the fifth. Like, for instance, if you're using the flat 13 on a dominant seventh chord, this note, say you're trying to go to B flat minor or something, like that. This flat 13 kind of clashes with the fifth. Now, we have B flat seventh, I'll do the same thing. And even on the minor chord, it sounds just fine to leave it out. In fact, if you're playing these chords down here in root position, as they get kind of low down here, they're going to sound kind of muddy. So if you're looking for something to leave out of the chord in order to make it sound a little bit better, leave the fifth out. I can't think of the melody. See, there we're kind of coming down, using a lot of tensions. And here for A flat major seventh, because the right hand just spells out the chord with the melody, a root and a seventh is all you need. Same here. See, that's E flat minor ninth right there. Right? That's the melody. Now right there, I think the chord's A flat, but you can use a tritone substitution. Which usually just involves whatever chord you're on going down a half a step, right? Because you're doing a 2, 5, 1 to D flat. But you can do a substitute for the A flat by just going D. All right? And here, I've kind of made a mistake. I used the fifth and not the third. I should use the third. All right, so where are we? I put the whole chord in there because it's a major chord now. The fifth doesn't do as much damage here on a major chord, because that's the chord you resolve to. That's the more stable chord. Same with the minor chord. Plus, I'm not too low either, so those four notes sound good. And then back to A flat, F seventh. See those, that's the flat 9 and the sharp 9 there. So all that tension, it helps to leave the 5 out. You can put it in, it's going to sound fine. But now here, I just went to the third and the seventh of the chord. There's B flat, there's the seventh and the third. Sometimes that's all you need really to define the chord. But let me see if I can find a better way to do that. So I should have said a simpler way. Here's our B flat. And once again, I got the third and the seventh there, but I put the root in there too. So I keep getting lost in this song. So there, if I had the fifth in, I'd kind of get that clash, which, like I say, it isn't a bad thing, but it just sounds a little bit more to the point to leave that fifth out, because that way this note has a little bit more something, a little bit more je ne sais quoi. That's just a 2, 5, 1, so we'll just go 2, 5, 1. All right. See, the fifth doesn't do any damage there because it's in the melody anyway. And that's my C chord right there. All right, that's a kind of a typical piano thing to do. As you have a dominant chord moving. So it usually happens at the end of a 16-bar form or something, but anyway, throw it in there. Now look, you can use like there's C7th, and you could put a diminished chord in there too, because if you pick the right diminished chord, then you're going to be playing a C7 flat 9, see, because that is a diminished chord, and you can invert it, doesn't matter where it is. You can think of it as C7 with a flat 9, and there's no root. So now here's a diminished chord. Now the right hand once again spells out the diminished chord, so you don't need much. You can play just a couple notes of it. And then back to A flat. This is our 1-6-5 for the turnaround. How does it go? Yeah. All right. That closing line would be just a good way to practice, playing over 2-5-1. All right, start on the 1 chord, start on the 5th there. All right, so you could do that in another key. Let's do it in A. Let's do it in B flat. All right, and it'll feel good in some keys. Might even feel good in one of those odd keys like F sharp or something, and then you've got a little bit more ability and knowledge to be able to play in some of those other keys. All right, so anyway, those are the chords, and there's lots of ways to approach that too. You can do bigger chords, you can play more rootless voicings, you can decide when to play the chords. You can put them right on the beat. 1, 2, da 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 da. Bump, bump, ba-doom. Or you can do little rhythmic things or put them in between. Hit the last note like that. I really don't know the melody there, do I? Okay, that's Donna Lee.